Chris, thanks for making time. Nice to see you. You are in a different environment. You're not where you usually are. Where are you?
So I'm in back home in blizzardy Chicago.
That's not like Southern California at all.
No, I mean, there's probably zero comparisons between the two locales other than being big U.S. cities with a lot of people.
And legal weed, both.
And legal weed, of course.
Which is the segue I was looking for, because it seems to me that some of the biggest cannabis days of the year are also grouped all around the next, well, certainly a couple, month and a half, but over the next week, we have Green Wednesday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is a big deal for the industry that looks for big deals.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at, I'm just going to throw some stats at you here,
Sure.
Jay. So we got this from Jane Technologies. They do POS systems, e-commerce plays. So if you look at the entire week, 20 sales on Green Wednesday 2023 were up 90.5% than the previous 3 Wednesdays. It also marked a surge 18.1% increase over Green Wednesday 2022. And if you look at adjusting for growth in the marijuana market, Jane estimates that sales were still up 11.4% year over year, highlighting how consumer demand for cannabis products on that specific day continues to rise. But as we know, family time for some is fantastic, and for others less than fantastic. So sometimes, you need a little help from your friends to get through it.
Whether it's going to be good or terrible, weed helps either way, from my vast experience with Thanksgiving. But it is important for retailers as well in the industry, right? You have big days like that mean a lot for sort of single day sales, but also as an opportunity to bring maybe new customers in, maybe bring repeat customers in, maybe get some inventory off your shelf that's been on your shelf. Like in your experience, sometimes it's challenging as a retailer in your first year or second year to think about all these things at once. Yes. But as markets become more mature, like Illinois and like California, these days become a critical part in the year for a whole variety of reasons.
There's no doubt about it. Not only do these, call them high sales days, kind of test your IT and test your staff to, meet the demand of the day. But, depending on when they are in the time of the year, obviously this is Q4. It is incredibly important to close the year on a high note, pardon the pun. So we look at these last sales days in November just being an incredibly important part of the Q4 story, end of year, and of course, as we get into 2025 expectations, things of that sort.
Yeah, it is important. And I live in Toronto, but for no real rational reason, we also have Black Friday sales, because we actually don't have Thanksgiving next week, but we do have Black Friday sales, and it has trickled into marketing, at least certainly on the email side from the cannabis industry here. I can just imagine sort of the emails that people involved in loyalty programs are getting there as well. And it is really about gearing up for the end of the year sprint, because we're talking about Black Friday, Green Wednesday, Cyber Monday, but that rolls directly into sort of holiday planning, holiday events, office parties, all those things, which then become, we have the pre-Christmas, we have Christmas and New Year's. Like, it becomes a really important 5-6 week period towards the end of the year that can make or break a year for a retailer. There's
no doubt about the Q4 is incredibly important in the retail space specifically. Not only that, we have the Super Bowl of cannabis events coming very soon in a couple of weeks at BizCon. This is all kind of baked into how important Q4 end of year is for the industry at large.
Yeah, and it happens to coincide with all the conversation happening in and around DC around cannabis. So between cannabis sales and the importance thereof in Q4, we also have a major focus on what's happening in DC with the new administration and new Congress, rescheduling hearing on the administrative law judge hearing on December 2nd. Like, there's a lot packed into the next 6 weeks in cannabis. Absolutely. From a market perspective, but also from a current and future regulatory and environmental perspective. There's just a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fascinating. Political leanings aside, there's certainly now a renewed optimism, that, it has come as a shocker to some of us in the scene. But it certainly seems like people are feeling just a lot better in the industry as we close out 2024 and as we kick off 2025.
Yeah. those feelings can be fickle. I think you've been in it long enough. I've been in it long enough that the flip of the calendar can bring a whole variety of new feelings. But there certainly is, I don't know, it's forced optimism. I think that's what someone called it. But really like optimism that there could be things on the horizon. Certainly rescheduling is not on the fastest timeline, but seems to not be stopping, right? I think there's a little bit of that, right? We're at the end of the year where a lot of cannabis sales happen. There's been some good sales numbers. Certainly some of the bigger companies and their earnings have shown progress. Yes, there was a defeat in Florida, but it did have a overwhelming majority of people supporting it. So there is this, we've been sort of beaten back enough, and like what the future holds may be more exciting. I think that also comes with the end of the year and looking to 2025. And sort of in your, and you mentioned it, right? Like we're going from the big Thanksgiving week to Cyber Monday, and a lot of people are leaving on, I guess it's Giving Tuesday, to get to Las Vegas for MJ Biz. Like, what are you most looking forward to in the show that's coming up? Well,
I mean, I'm moderating a lot of these panels and doing a lot of. I'm seeing we're going to have a fantastic sports panel with Ricky Williams, Greta Gaines, Eugene.
That's my Heisman move right there.
Yes, I like that. Very nice. I mean, dead ringer. Al Harrington. So I think that's going to be a fantastic panel. We're talking about, some well-known sports stars who came out and talked about their use. Its benefits for mental health, well-being. When athletes did not talk about this, we are talking about 4 athletes who came out years ago. I mean, Greta Gaines was a little bit more recent, but those other athletes we're talking about this when no one else was. So in a lot of ways, they are vanguards for what they have done and the advocacy that they're still doing. But overall, what I love most about BizCon more than anything else is just getting together with folks, seeing them face to face, having a sesh, giving me what have you been up to, man? It's great to see you again. I just love the camaraderie. And I know that, the cannabis industry has a lot of, different sex and segments and constituents. And a lot of times, there's not a lot of agreement when it comes to all these disparate groups. But when it comes to the hang and learning about what's going on in the cannabis industry, our event is second to none. And of course, what we expect out of 2025, which we're going to hear from a lot of experts in the field.
Yeah. Ricky Williams in particular was very vocal about his cannabis use all through his career. And it even landed him, in hot water with the NFL. But that hot water in the NFL actually landed him here in Toronto playing for the Argos for a period of time. So we're okay with that. It was a very short stint. But anybody that's of note that plays in the CFL, we like to give a shout out to. And actually, nobody knows this that follows this show, but the Argos, who are Toronto CFL team, won the Grey Cup last Sunday, which is our Super Bowl, even though it doesn't get nearly the attention that it gets the right amount of attention it deserves, which is not very much. But that's okay because you're in Chicago and your Bears are also.
We don't want to talk about. I mean, let's keep this on a high note, please.
Let's keep it all positive. Well, Chris, it is a high note because there are some big sales days coming up. The following week, the industry, including us, will be in Las Vegas. We will see you and the rest of the industry there. And then we'll follow up with what's happening in December on the legislative front, with new markets, with the fallout or the outcome or the insights from the MJBizCon coming up in December. But Chris, thanks for making time today. Enjoy the snow and enjoy the safe travels back to no snow.
Yes, thanks, JS. Thanks for having me. Always great to talk with you about the issues of the day, hockey, football. I mean, I love coming on here.
All those things. Well, enjoy. Hopefully you won't have to shovel while you're there, but if you do.
No, man. No, I'm tourist all the way through and through here.
Yeah, no tourist should ever have to shovel, but appreciate seeing you today. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Bye, Jay.
Bye, Chris.
Have a good one.